Hey. What's happening? My F.U.L. fam. This is Cornelius James, and you're now tuned into the Black Thought Interviews. And I think this is, episode 11, I believe. And we got this dynamic young lady that we've interviewed. This Dr. DeShawn Taylor. Great interview. Hope you enjoy it. All right, fam, let's get into it.
You are now tuned in to F.U.L. Podcast Show, where family unites listeners and listeners become family. Now allow me to introduce your host, Cornelius James and Mr. Info Joe. And oh yeah, F you.
Come and talk deserves a walk. Come and talk deserves a walk. Come and talk deserves a walk. Commentating, illustrating.
We created this podcast for the people, for the comments that's not represented. But now we got a voice. Yeah, now we got a voice.
F.U.L. Podcast Show. F.U.L. Podcast Show. F.U.L. Podcast Show.
Hi, F.U.L. fam. This is Cornelius James, and you're now tuned into the Black Thought Interviews. And today we got a special guest, Dr. DeShawn Taylor. Let's welcome her to the show. How you doing, DeShawn?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Well, I just wanted to add that me and her go way back like croaker sacks. I just wanted to say that. Well, I thought that was funny, Dr. DeShawn Taylor. All right, can you tell the folks give them a brief bio about yourself?
All right. Well, I am a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist, born, raised, and trained in Los Angeles, now living in the state of Arizona, where I opened up my own medical practice in Phoenix. I have a really interesting story. I declared in elementary school that I would be a doctor, and I was fascinated by the human brain and thought I would be a brain surgeon, actually. But upon entering medical school, I realized I was very passionate about healthcare for women, and so I decided to be an OBGYN.
Nice. And I'd like to attest to that claim because I recall asking you when you were a little girl, I don't know why I even thought, let me ask you, what you want to be when you grow up? And with a straight face directly in my eyes, I'm going to be a doctor. And I tell my daughters that story all the time because if you said it and you did it, the whole family's proud of you. All right. So let's move on with the questioning. Dr. DeShawn Taylor, what would you prefer to be called? Afro-American, Black American, African American, colored, etc., and why?
Well, I prefer African American, and I prefer it because it allows me to identify with the fact that I am a descendant of Africa. Now, I know the whole world is descendants of Africa, but I'm just saying that I like the idea of having that intimate feeling with being African. I've actually visited Africa. I've been to Zambia, and I've spent a short while in Egypt, which they act like they're not African. They identify more Middle Eastern, but that's a whole other issue. But I felt a real kinship. I spent a total of about 8 weeks or so doing some work in Africa related to reproductive health. So I definitely prefer to keep that link when discussing who I am.
Nice. I understand it and respect your answer. Got another question, Doctor. What do you think about our culture's current state in America?
I think we're fragmented. I think there is not one African-American culture. I think that there are segments of the population who are more of this, have bred stereotypes that are negative to us. And then there is a segment of our culture that is kind of the upwardly mobile, cut off from the rest of us. And then you have the others who have a little bit of Black in them, and so they're kind of trying to forge their own way. We're fragmented.
Fragmented.
It's been very interesting with this whole Black Lives Matter movement that's been happening, because I think a lot of people throw into the mix there, what about the Black on Black crime, and what about this and that, and try to kind of dilute the fact that, you know, there are some deep-seated wrongs that continue to be perpetuated. And our different types of cultures reflect people's experiences with that. And so before the Black Lives Matter movement, I personally was feeling like there was a segment of our society that was lost, and I was very disappointed. But then when I saw the young people step up and start kind of making a voice for themselves, then I have a renewed feeling of optimism.
Okay. Nice. Appreciate your answer. Let's move on to this next question. We are $1 trillion a year consumers in America, but we own little to nothing. What can we do to change that?
I think that, first of all, young African-American children should grow up with being fed the idea that they can own something. I think that's the first step, because I'm a business owner. It was never, ever anything I ever in my mind thought that I would do, ever. But I am now, and it's just the way that kind of life universe transpired to make it go down, where I got to a point in my career where I realized that I could no longer work for anyone else. And it was a decision that I made based on circumstances in a given moment in time. Now, I definitely was raised being taught and supported that I could be whatever I wanted to be. I could be a doctor, I could be this. But what we're being taught is that we can work for somebody else and attain a high level of success working for somebody else. We're not taught to work for ourselves. And there are groups of people in America who are taught that when they grow up, they will own something. So it has to start from the way that we're raised and expectations that are set for us, that being business owners is something to aspire to and attain.
Okay. Like your answer, and I agree with you. Okay, let us move on to question number 5. We're giving our President Obama a report card. What grade would you give him? A, B, C, D, or F, and why?
I would give our president a B-. And the reason that I will give our president a B- is because I'm liberal. I'm very liberal. And I have realized that our president is actually what used to be a conservative Republican. Not a conservative, but a moderate Republican. They don't exist anymore since now we have the Tea Party. But so he's a centrist. He's very much middle of the road. So on issues that I feel very strongly about, where I would prefer that he take a stronger stand, he doesn't. So that downgrades him, in my eyes, from an A. I don't think he's a C. I think he's doing better than just passing. I think that he could have been more effective with the support of Congress. But since, there has been that kind of fighting between them, he's been able to be fairly effective, given a country that was in free fall and now back on the economic rise, more jobs, less joblessness. I think that it would be short-sighted to give him a fail, and I know that people do. But yeah, I think that President Obama has done a tremendous job with what he was handed and turned the country around. I have a very interesting experience. So when I was in Egypt, he had just been elected. We had just had the elections, and it was so amazing. I was in Egypt, and it was a delegation of us OBGYNs, and we got off of the bus to go into this marketplace. And people, they knew that it was Americans. We had a detail of police with us escorting us too. So it was a big deal. And we got off that bus, and people were yelling, "America, America, Obama, and I will never forget that.
Nice.
I will never forget that. Because the whole world gives our president more respect than the Americans do.
Wow. Nice. Thanks for sharing that, too, with us. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Dr. Taylor, can you give me 1 to 3 books that you've read that changed your life?
Well, the first book is the Holy Bible, and I'm going to be honest that I was not very interested in reading it until just a couple of years ago. Growing up in a family Christian, the Bible was read to me. I know, the famous passages in it. I've been to church. Went to church when I was little, but as an adult, I did not have very much interest in it until recently when I decided to seek more of a personal relationship with God. And so I said, let me actually open up this Bible and read it for myself. And not just those famous passages that get quoted all the time, but really read this and see how it applies to my life. And I tell you that it changed my life. And then the second one is The 4 Agreements. Because Don Miguel Ruiz, I remind myself of those agreements on a regular basis. I have them hanging in my office for all staff to be reminded of that every day as well when you come to work.
One of my favorite books also.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, it's when you take away the power, I think we give people power, right? So like the idea that you're impeccable with your word, so you don't use your word against others and you don't use it against yourself either. You don't make assumptions. If you need clarification, seek it. Don't take anything personal. The way that people behave is their reflection of their own reality. It has nothing to do with you. And then always do your best. Understand that your best will be different in different times. And, you may be sick. You may have stuff going on. But always doing your best, you're going to always, put your best foot forward. That's the way you should be living your life. 4 simple agreements. Life change.
Simple, too. Hand it to you simple so you can, use them in a practical, things you can use. So yeah, that's one of my favorite books. I agree. You got one more if you want to share, or are you good?
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, there are several other books, that I had to read to get to where I am today in my profession, but those aren't interesting.
I know what you mean. I could only imagine with the books you had.
Definitely life-changing.
Yeah. Somebody reading something like thinking they ready to have to take an exam after they read a chapter, huh?
Right.
Wow. Okay, well, Dr. Taylor, lastly, can you tell the people where can they find you via location or social media? So
I am in Phoenix, Arizona. If you have any listeners out there who need gynecology services, I am at 1526 West Glendale Avenue, Phoenix, Arizona. And we have a Facebook page, Desert Star Family Planning. And we're also on Twitter at Desert Star FP. And that's pretty much it.
Nice. I mean, F.U.L. fam, this is like a double bonus for me to interview someone that I love and admire, and to get to share with you guys, So F.U.L. fam, this is Dr. DeShawn Taylor. Thank you again, DeShawn.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All right. Until the next time, take care of yourself and keep an open mind. Thank you.
Now allow me to introduce your host, Cornelius James and Mr. Info Joe. And oh yeah, F you.